Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Witness and I'm your host Katrina Hussain. There's an old adage, a legend if you want to say, which I will loosely translate, which goes to the effect of Islamabad is where governments are formed and Karachi is where they're broken. Well, this time round it remains to be seen if this adage is going to become reality, because once again the Muttahida Qaumi Movement has parted ways with the government. But this time round they seem to be a little bit more serious or aggressive than they were in the past. Dr Farooq Sattar of the MQM went on air today in a widely viewed press conference in which he said that the MQM was now going to part ways with the federal government, with the provincial government, and also the Sindh governor, Dr Ishratullah would also resign. Well, even as he said that, information came in that Dr Ishratullah had indeed resigned. Speculation began immediately about who the replacement governor was likely to be. And meanwhile, MQM ministers, both in the provincial and the federal cabinets, removed flags from their respective cars, indicating that they no longer held the status of ministers, provincial or federal. Well, that comes in the wake of the Azad Jammu and Kashmir election, which has by and large been won by the Pakistan People's Party. They have taken at least 19 seats. The PMLN has taken 8. And those elections are at the heart of the new controversy. And on a day that should have been a day of celebration for the Pakistan People's Party, they are indeed left scratching their heads, wondering why the MQM has walked out on them. Well, that isn't too difficult to understand, because the MQM was furious that elections for the Kashmir Legislative Assembly in Karachi had been cancelled due to supposedly security considerations. Now, the Sindh Chief Minister, Qaim Ali Shah, has said that those postponed elections for those Kashmir Legislative Assembly seats will be held in Karachi in the near future. That has not placated the MQM, which maintains that those elections should be scrapped altogether. The MQM now demanding that the AJK polls should be scrapped. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today, but not just the polls themselves, because those really seem to be the trigger factor. We were looking at the legislative polls in Azad Jammu and Kashmir as a litmus test for the standing popularity of the main political parties in the country. The PMLN certainly made a remarkably strong showing, given the fact that they do not routinely take part in elections in AJK. They walked away with 8 seats. That, of course, amidst allegations of rigging and irregularities from both sides, the PPP and the PMLN accusing each other rather aggressively about having tampered with the poll. Well, now it's time for me to introduce you to our guest. Here in the studio with me is the Pakistan People's Party's MNA, Shahnaz Wazir Ali. And joining me from Gujranwala is going to be Engineer Khurram Dasgir Khan, an MNA from the Pakistan Muslim League M. And from Karachi, which is where, as I said, the rumor, legend, adage has it that governments are actually broken. Joining me from there is going to be Senator Colonel Retired Tahir Hussain Mashhadi of the Muttahida Qaumi Movement. Thank you all for joining me in the program today. And Senator Mashhadi, I will begin straight with you. The biggest question being asked today by just about everyone: the MQM has done this before. They have walked out of the government twice. Is third time round going to be the final time, or is there still some likelihood that the People's Party can actually sweet talk you back into the coalition?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much for taking me on your program. There is no doubt this time that this is the parting. I mean, as sorrowful as it may be, but this is the parting, and there's been a culmination of events leading up to this. We were forced to take this decision because over the past months, many promises were made, none were kept, and even in the budget, we were befooled absolutely. We had 8 or 10 meetings with all the concerned people, including the finance minister. Then our proposals, none of them, or 1 or 2 of them, were accepted, and most of them were rejected. So we could not do for the poor masses of Pakistan what we wanted to do and what deserved to be done for them. In the meantime came the unkindest cut of all, that we were told, or we were ordered by the Waderas ruling this country, that you have got 2 almost unopposed seats in the Azad Kashmir legislature. legislator, and you hand over one to Pakistan People's Party. We were ordered to give up our mandate. We were ordered the most undemocratic type of demand ever made. And then not only that, rigging of the highest order. The rigging that we saw yesterday was child's play. What they did was that the returning officers were threatened, they ran away. Then when we asked the Chief Secretary Sindh, he said that no, we can't. Suddenly, from absolute peaceful that elections can be held, the government of Sindh suddenly started saying elections can't be held. And then they postponed almost definite seats of ours. Not only this, they knew that we are a popular party in Azad Kashmir because of our work we did in the devastation, after the devastation caused by the earthquake. And we have a following, and we had put up candidates on almost all the seats from the middle class and lower middle class
the crucial question over
and
here,
they had an option for once in their life to vote for themselves. That has been deprived from them. And not only that, no promise has ever been kept, and this is the end of it, that boiling pot has boiled over, the lid is off, and this is what has happened.
Okay, Senator Mashhadi, hang on there for a minute. Let me go now to Gujranwala, where I'm joined by Engineer Khurram Dastagir Khan. Mr. Khan, your party as well has accused the ruling party of having rigged the elections, but the People's Party is also accusing your party of having tampered with the elections in the Punjab. What is this a prelude to? Are we now seeing a complete meltdown in relations between the government and the opposition?
First of all, apart from that incident of disorder in Lahore, the actual word rigging never took place in all of Punjab. There are no complaints whatsoever. And I brought for the benefit of your viewers the results from Government High School number 1 in Kila Didar Singh in the district of Gujranwala. I am holding the results, official results in my hand, which is the home polling station of the Right Honourable Punjab President of Pakistan People's Party, my colleague Mr. Imtiaz of the Waraich. And in that polling station, where he was present for most of the day, 900, I want to be very precise, 963 votes were polled, out of which Pakistan Muslim League N polled 852, and Pakistan People's Party polled a grand total of 70 votes. And this is where the Punjab President was present at the polling station. So no, the allegations of rigging, I would dismiss them out of hand. There was no rigging in Punjab, and in fact a very peaceful election has taken place. Yes, there was that disorder in Lahore, but the issue of the ballot boxes being sacred, they remained sacred, and we hope that whenever the election in Lahore does take place, it will take place in a much more peaceful atmosphere, and Mr. Shahbaz will ensure that it will be done in strict security, and voters should be allowed to go to the polls and choose whoever they have chosen. And I think for PMLN to go from 0 to this 8 to 10 seats that we are expecting in total in just 6 months. We announced our formation of a party on 26th of December, and on 26th of June we are the second largest party in Azad Kashmir, and we are the principal opposition. And I think we are grateful to the people of Azad Kashmir and the voters of Azad Kashmir for giving us this tremendous opportunity. And I think by doing this, the democracy in AJK has been strengthened, and now we are in a better position to go to the world. The sanctity of the electoral process, I think, which Senator Mashhadi has pointed out, I think this gerrymandering of seats that was demanded by Pakistan People's Party in Sindh, I think that is very deplorable, that they want to just divide seats, that you take one and we'll take the other. That's simply unacceptable. Why not do the right thing, allow the voters to go to the polls and get the results, whatever it may be. And I think that is the right way to do, and we hope that the Election Commission of Pakistan and the Sindh government will ensure that whenever that election takes place, and as I said, the election in Lahore takes place, it will be done in the strictest law and order situation properly, and we'll abide by the results.
All right. Thank you there, Ms. Wazir Ali. Thank you so much for being here. You've heard now what your former coalition partner, and now actually they're both your former coalition partners now. Are you worried? Are you worried that the Pakistan People's Party is slowly now managing to make enemies where they once had friends?
No, I don't think that we are making enemies where we once had friends. I think everybody has their own political positioning. And it is important for the people of Pakistan to have the options. We think that this is a very important part of the democratic process. Let me quickly come to the context that we are in. The elections in Kashmir have been held. All eyes have been in the election on Azad Jammu and Kashmir for many reasons. One, as many of the major politicians of this country have said, including Mian Nawaz Sharif and his party, that this will be a test case for Pakistan. And I think that there is no doubt about the fact that what we also, all of us as Pakistanis across the board, regardless of the political parties that we belong to, we want to see a situation and work towards a situation and ensure a situation that in Azad Jammu and Kashmir versus occupied Kashmir, that in fact democratically held elections can take place.
Yeah.
Yes, there will always be some complaints, and I don't think in any country you can say that everybody is going to be fully satisfied. So I think that's a very important point for us to keep in mind. This is not just an ordinary election. This is an election in which the people of Azad Jammu and Kashmir are exercising their right to vote. And our principal stand has always been that the people in occupied Kashmir should have that right to determine their future.
That's
now
true,
I will come.
This
so I'm
election,
just
this election
giving
was
you
widely
the
being
international
seen as a litmus test for the PPP.
Yes.
Sort of a mid-term opinion poll on a larger scale, if you like. Are you satisfied then?
So, Katrina, I think just to take that point up, which is a litmus test or a test case for Pakistan, Pakistan People's Party, which has put up a candidate on every single seat and has had a long history of engagement in Azad Jammu Kashmir. We have just not entered Azad Jammu Kashmir just now, as some of the other parties have done. We have had a long-term historical relationship with the people. And as a test case, it has shown that the Pakistan People's Party has won the majority of seats in AJK.
So why then did you feel the need to tell the MQM that they should not contest a seat, trying to tell...
I'll come to that. I think that's it's important, certainly, one, to remember that today really should have been a day where we should have all sat jointly in Pakistan to say, yes, we can hold free, fair elections in Kashmir. The people have cast their vote and they have given the verdict, and they have given their verdict in favor of the Pakistan People's Party. Now, you know, the MQM leadership, which has been very, very emotionally charged and has come up with this dramatic resignations of the governor, from the federal government,
and
to the
listen to
provincial
what
government.
Colonel Mashadi said.
And
Promises
on
were made,
one
not
seat,
kept. Budget, we were befooled.
And
Our
on one
proposals
seat,
were rejected.
No. I think if it had been on the budget, they would have stood up at that time and voted against the budget. But I think if it is resignations and quitting on one seat, this is quite unusual in the sense that you don't throw up your association in the governance arrangements of a country for one seat. And as you know, understandings on seats do take place at the time of election.
But this is clearly something serious. We'll ask Colonel Mashadi what
but
was
you know,
it. But
it's not the first time that they have quit.
Do you think that are you going to try and
I
move them
can't
back?
remember how many times MQM has taken
time.
that position, that on some issue they feel so strongly about an issue that they quit. Our policy has always been, and I think the President's statement, as you know, has already come out a couple of hours ago, which is to say that we will still pursue the policy of reconciliation. We are not responding to this tirade and this attack against Pakistan People's Party that we are undemocratic, dictatorial, tyrannical, etc., etc. I mean, for a party that has sat with military dictators not once but, you know, twice in the past, it doesn't particularly suited.
So you don't think that you're tyrannical, dictatorial and all those other things?
Well, I think the media wouldn't be as free and we wouldn't be discussing things today.
Colonel Mashadi, let's quickly, I would like to get your response to one thing, and a crucial question here, Senator. The very, very important thing that you said, that you were told that you had to give up one seat. Who told you? Who is a person who is responsible for this breakup?
The leadership of Pakistan People's Party. And may I correct one or two things said? The very, very intelligent Bibi Sanaz has said that the people of Azad, Jammu and Kashmir have cast their votes. The people of Azad, Jammu and Kashmir have been denied the right of vote in 2 seats in Karachi and 1 seat in Abbottabad. This is a fact. This is history. Nobody in the world can ever agree that they have been given an opportunity to cast their vote. They have not been given the opportunity to cast their vote freely. We welcomed Pakistan People's Party to contest the election against us, but we said, for God's sake, give the people of Azad Jammu and Kashmir the right to vote. It is their right that is being deprived. Khurram Dastagir Khan is one of the intellectuals, and he rightly said about the overall condemning this type of thing where seats are demanded or ordered to be given. Why? Because it is again a continuation of rigging. In fact, the mother of all rigging is that 2 seats or 3 seats which you cannot win, you always withhold the elections from there, so that when the elections are held, the by-elections, you put all the resources of the government on those 2 seats, and you put all the resources of the party on those 2 seats, and therefore you do not give an equal opportunity as is given in a general election. Now this is the main thing.
Senator Mashri,
Now
one
coming
of the very
to
important
the
points that I have to raise over here, which is the fact that nobody quite believes.
Pakistan People's Party leadership, and this talks were going on for the last 2 weeks, and the whole nation knows.
Okay, Senator Mashri, nobody quite believes that this whole situation happened because of one single seat.
We said it is
undemocratic. What else was going on?
We just cannot do this. We cannot give away the right of the people of Azad Jammu and Kashmir. We are nobody to do it.
Okay, Senator Mashri, hold your thought. I think Senator Mashri can't hear me when I'm talking, so let's go to Khurram Dastagir. Khurram, you want to add something to what Senator Mashri is saying?
I mean, while we, the honourable colleague, Mrs. Shahnaz Wazir is talking the talk of democracy, let's not paper over the fact that there was a rampant and unmitigated use of Benazir income support programs. The forms were distributed like sweets all across AJK and in the Punjab, wherever these elections were being held. And this issue of the Prime Minister going there and giving these huge amounts in patronage development and all kinds of promises that he's making, it does affect the election. I think there's this issue of official intervention into AJK election is something we have to deal with, because it is very deplorable that a ruling party, which has of course all the resources of the government of Pakistan at its disposal, and which of course also sanctions the funds for AJK, decides to use those funds, decides to use what is a anti-poverty program to win votes in AJK. I think it is deplorable. We condemn it. I think this is something the Election Commission of Pakistan and Election Commission of AJK has to look into, of whether Pakistan's ruling parties are using their influence and funds to affect how the AJK elections are held. And in fact, this use of resources, I think we have to think about it. Yes, People's Party has been there for more than 35 years, but it seems that they are not evolving into a genuinely free and fair democratic paradigm in which government resources and patronage is not there as an influencing force in elections.
Okay. We will take a short commercial break over here. When we return, of course, Mr. Dastagir Khan has raised the crucial issue of the Benazir income support program. We'll tell you a little bit more about that after this break as well. These are important issues. But more importantly, another issue that everybody is asking, can the PPP manage to keep the PMLN and the MQM apart? This and more after a short break. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Witness. Well, before we discuss the Benazir income support program that I mentioned before the break, the real crucial issue right now is, of course, if there is going to be a grand opposition coalition in the works. Now, given the history between the PMLN and the MQM, we don't know. So let's try and get both our two leaders now to comment on that. Let's go first to Gujranwala, where I'm joined by Engineer Khurram Dastagir. Mr. Dastagir, the language that we heard between the PMLN and the MQM leadership about a year ago, when Wasim Akhtar and Chaudhry Nisar used incredibly unparliamentary language, that's the politest way I can put it, against each other. Relations between these two parties have been tense, but do you think you can now, your party is going to make the effort to put that behind them? Are you going to be talking to the Muttahida Qaumi Movement about coming together in some kind of grand coalition?
Certainly, I think we can move beyond whatever tension there has been in the past and try to mend our fences. I think more than the unparliamentary language that you alluded to, the real hurdle in a communication between PMLN and MQM has been the, I think, unfortunate, I would call it, the references, repeated references by the MQM leadership of their preference for a general to come and save Pakistan. I think they've said this more than once, and I think we are opposed to that. And if MQM is willing to move beyond that rhetoric and trust the people of Pakistan to govern themselves, and not any kind of general or a knight on a white horse which they say will solve our problems, I think both parties are now in a position to speak to each other, communicate, and perhaps evolve a modus operandi in which they can be in a grand opposition coalition. Because what is happening is...
What options are open to you at this time, Mr. Dasgir?
The options, I think MQM has created an option. We will take them up on that. But the fact is that what you saw yesterday in Azad Jammu Kashmir election is that PPP was helped by the split in the right-wing vote. PMLN, of course, was a new entrant, and the Azad Kashmir Muslim Conference has been there for a long time. And I think the vote split that happened in, I think, more than on a dozen seats helped the PPP to gain the majority that they have. They are nearing to that. So we want to reduce that. And I think the one lesson also from yesterday's election is that those parties who favored military democracy, like PMLQ in Pakistan and the Muslim Conference in Azad Kashmir, they are dying their sure, slow death. They are going to be slowly move away from the scene, and scene would be set for, I think, a very proper confrontation or a contest, as whatever you might call it, between PMLN and those parties who want to see a genuine, yes, it is a messy democracy, but there has to be, just as I mentioned, the use of state patronage. We have to evolve. We have to move forward from these old paradigms of state patronage and get the people's trust in these elections, that elections will move the country forward. So we are willing to talk to MQM about that.
You're willing to talk to the MQM. Senator Mashhadi, you heard what Khurram Dasgir had to say. They're willing to talk to you. Is your party willing to talk to the PMLN? Are we going to see some kind of opposition coalition being formed at the center?
It's a basic rule of democracy that and politics that you must move on, and nothing is impossible. And Pakistan, this Muslim League Noon is one of the biggest parties in Pakistan. Mr. Nawaz Sharif is one of the top leaders of Pakistan, highly respected. We have the highest respect for him and for his party. So there's no reason why we can't get along. Because if we can get along with Pakistan People's Party, if the right type of talks are held, misunderstandings are removed, and this whole has to be done in negotiation. There is no other way of moving forward other than negotiation. You can't move forward by influence of guns or violence or anything, or some mixture of democracy or hypocrisy. It has to be direct dialogue, and I'm sure we can, because once we are in opposition, we will already be in the same boat, so to speak, because we will be opposing the policies of the government. Noon will be opposing the policies of the government. So natural convergence comes around there. The other thing is that the people who are in the Senate and in the National Assembly, we have the fantastic relationship with the people from Pakistan Muslim League Noon, and they likewise show a lot of respect to us, and they're very nice with us. So the base does exist for mutual understanding. The base does exist for mutual getting together, and maybe an alliance we can even think of. And so I don't think there's anything taboo about it at all, and it should never be written off, because politics is the art of making everything possible. And this is a very, very
Senator Mashhadi, of course, one of the other concerns that has been raised.
That Noon and because you see, both are populist parties, and Pakistan Muslim League Noon knows the strength of the Pakistan of MQM, especially in the lower middle class and middle classes. And I'll just come back to the Kashmir election.
Of course, another crucial question that is being talked about is who will be the next governor of Sindh.
There was a vote there, there is a vote there, and Pakistan Muslim League, Pakistan People's Party was very, very keen to keep us out of the election, so that the secular vote, the leftist vote, which the MQM has, and the poor and the lower middle class, because People's Party also professes to be a party of the poor, so they wanted to keep that vote
Senator Mashadi, if you can slow down for a minute and listen, because I want to ask you some questions. I don't know if you can hear me. Senator Mashadi, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, now please carry on. I can hear you.
Okay, my question is, who do you think is going to be the next governor of Sindh? Do you think it's going to be Zulfikar Mirza?
Sorry, somebody spoke in the middle. I heard Zulfikar Mirza. What
Senator
I said before that?
What will be the MQM's reaction if the next governor of Sindh is Dr. Zulfikar Mirza?
The government of Pakistan has every right to appoint anybody they feel like. If, and as far as Mr. Zulfikar Mirza is concerned, we have nothing personal against him. In politics, you can't have personal things against individuals. It always has to be on issues, it has to be on principles, it has to be on ideology. We as a Pakistan party, we are a ideological party with principles, and we've got our own agenda. We represent the middle class, the lower middle class. If he's going to serve the people of Pakistan, the lower middle class and the middle class, will be happy with him. There's no problem.
Yes, I say that if MQM is this time genuine in its desire to be part of the opposition, because so far what we've seen is a love-hate relationship, which has almost now reached a border of a bipolar disorder sort of thing. But if they are genuine in their opposition demand, then there is a test case coming up in the Senate, where the issue of leader of the opposition in the Senate, and if now MQM is in the opposition as they claim to be, I think it's going to be a very interesting test case of how the scenario in the Senate plays out, where of course the issue of who is going to be the leader of the opposition is now very much up in the air.
That's a very good point.
I want to come in just on a couple of points here. First of all, I think this famous dictum, that there are no permanent friends and no permanent foes in politics is proven today well beyond any doubt. Two parties who were virtually at each other's throats a short while ago have shown that you really don't have permanent friends and permanent foes, and that all options are open, and that indeed doors of political parties always stay open. Now, I think that, and I have no issue with that. I just think we need to recognize that, you know, there are shifting sands here.
For the People's Party as well.
The other thing is,
yes,
but we have always said that. We've always said that we want coalition governments. Pakistan is not going to throw up a 3/4 majority party in the election the way either PMLN thinks or MQM thinks. The only party which is still the largest party in the country and which today has 120 seats in the National Assembly, along with the others, has a good solid majority of 189, and MQM has got 25. So I won't go more into whether they're good friends, and that's good, and I think
but
maybe
the PMLN has 90 plus seats, the MQM has 25,
so it's
they got to 115, and if they want to,
and we've got 189 right now, so they have 115 and we have 189. But I don't want to talk about those numbers alone, because the numbers speak for themselves. 2-3 points have been made. One, I think, because both of them are my good colleagues and I have a lot of respect for them. And I think that it's good that we are having this very open debate, because I do think Pakistan is moving into a context of politics where it is really important that when parties join, when they coalesce or they have negotiations and they sit together, it should be more than just a one-point negative agenda. If their coming together is just because MQM and PMLN want just to oppose People's Party and just want to ensure that People's Party is out of government and that they're in. I don't think that's a very healthy agenda. Hopefully, if their points of view coincide on economic policy, on industrial policy, on labor policy, on agriculture policy, etc.,
sure,
etc., that's fine.
It can be.
I
But,
also
you know,
think that, when you talk...
Ms. Fazili, do you mind if I cut you off? Because I'm going to lose my satellite connection to Karachi in the next couple of minutes.
But
so I will come back to you.
Had a long time.
He's going to say goodbye to me. Yeah, so I'm going to have to take a short commercial break over here. And I only want to thank Senator Colonel Retired Tahir Hussain Mashhadi from the Muttahida Qaumi Movement. Senator, thank you so much for having joined us. I've just been told that I'm losing my satellite link to Karachi. So unfortunately, we can't continue with you to the rest of the program. So I'll thank you now, and hopefully we'll see you again in future episodes. After the break, Khurram Dastagir Khan and Shanaz Wazir Ali and I will be here to carry on that very crucial point about what next for the coalition parties. And of course, I have to give Ms. Wazir Ali her say as well. For now, a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Witness. Well, before the break, Ms. Wazir Ali, I cut you off very sharply because you're trying to make a point. So why don't you complete what you're trying to say before I come to my next question?
Yes, I know. We have just a little bit of time. I was mentioning that I think that the coalescing of parties around a particular agenda will, I think this has happened in Pakistan in the past. It is, of course, as you know, we've had coalition partners, and sometimes the coalition partners have decided that they no longer saw eye to eye with the Pakistan People's Party government. But I would say that really the bottom line on all of this is that all of this is possible because I think we all jointly adhere to a democratic framework for Pakistan. And it is within this democratic framework that you can have alliances. Look at countries around the world.
Sure.
Alliances are made and broken, governments quit,
there's
resignations.
Government in Britain for the first time after,
what,
60 years.
Happen. So I don't think that there needs to be that level of alarm. That's the first thing. The other is we do think that if the MQM has a major demand or a major issue or is troubled by something, that this seems to have been done in haste, these resignations from the governor, all the MNAs and members of the Provincial Assembly resigning their seats, etc.
They haven't resigned their seats, they've resigned their ministries.
Resigning their positions from government. So clearly, if one seat, an issue over one seat is that critical, that they would take such a major step. I think that certainly the Pakistan People's Party has always reached out, and I think even at this time, our party leadership has said that we reach out to them. I will say this again, that our party wants to maintain our coalition partners. We will seek to resolve the issues. We would like to not have any
Colonel
tensions
Mashhadi is no longer with us, but he said many promises were made, none were kept. We were befooled during the budget. Our proposals were mostly rejected. We were ordered to give up a seat.
I don't think there's any befooling. Look, the entire budget discussion, it was a very, very open and robust discussion on the floor of the House. Many parties have criticized and made proposals, etc. You cannot accept carte blanche what any one single party has to say about it.
I want to get into another very important question. Yes, Mr. Dastagir, you wanted to add something before I go to the next question?
No, I'm just saying that Pakistan Muslim League N and MQM agree on many issues, like we oppose the RGST. We both propose that all exemptions in income tax laws should be withdrawn. We are together in the feeling that Pakistan's industrial hubs are being damaged by this ever-increasing energy crisis in the country. Our industrial hubs are hurting, industries are hurting, unemployment is increasing in cities. And yes, of course, there is also this concern, which we will share with MQM, is the current rule of Pakistan People's Party, we believe, is degrading the quality of democracy in the country. I think there is a big issue of when a government is not serious in tackling the most profound issues of rampant inflation, the issue of an ever-increasing energy crisis in electricity and natural gas, and this issue of how we are combating the war on terror. I think these issues are very serious, and we are going to discuss with the MQM on precisely these policy issues, very profound policy issues, and that will be the way forward, because we really feel that, yes, there has been a result in the AJK, but inflation is not going away anytime soon because of this government's, I think, very lackluster policy response to these economic challenges. The energy crisis shows no sign of abating, again because of very
Absolutely.
poor policy choices like rental power program, and so far having done nothing to mitigate in any way the power crisis in the country. And of
Mr.
course the fact
the
that,
question
no,
that every
whatever their
Pakistani is
pronouncements of war on
asking
terror,
today.
more Pakistanis are dying every single day.
Absolutely. Now, Mr. Dasgir, there is one question that every single Pakistani is asking today, and that is plain and simple. Will the PMLN and the MQM get together to force an early election, resign en masse from the National Assembly? Any such plan or consideration likely in the next 2 months?
It is very much on the radar and cannot be ruled out.
Very much on the radar and cannot be ruled out.
Well, you know,
Ms. Waziri, I would like to add one more thing to you. The People's Party is reasonably complacent with its numbers right now, but a straw in the wind, as I say, and the straw in the wind is that Senator Zahid Khan from the Awami National Party yesterday went public in saying that the Benazir Income Support Program is completely corrupt. Now, he is from your coalition, one of your strongest coalition members. He's the Secretary General of the ANP. Are you not concerned?
I'm glad that you've raised this point, because I know that Khurram Dasgir Sahib had also mentioned
Yeah, he
this.
mentioned BISP
First of
was
all,
used.
let us go back to the beginning of BISP. When BISP was first initiated, every single member of the National Assembly, every single member, regardless of which side of the aisle they sat, Treasury, opposition, everyone, all MPAs, all received equal number of forms which they filled in and they submitted to BISP. Now, of course, there was a filter process only to the extent that these names that were submitted were revalidated whether somebody was actually there in that particular location and household.
But the program is expanded
no,
much
let me
beyond
go
that.
back. So if there was corruption, then if members of the provincial assemblies, members of the Parliament, of the National Assembly, and I am not saying this, whoever is saying is pointing the finger at themselves for a start. Second
the issue of corruption that has arisen is not in our constituencies. It is the fact that in every single by-election that has happened, and the elections in Gilgit-Baltistan and yesterday's election in AJK, Benazir Income Support Program forms are a tool of patronage of Pakistan People's Party's government. That is what is corrupt about it.
Okay.
I'll come to that. I was responding to the comment, Katrina, that you made on Senator Zahid Khan, who has said that Benazir Income Support Program is being used as patronage and as corruption. Well, as I said, every single member of Parliament, provincial and national, actually had the forms. They filled in the forms. They submitted the list. The second stage into that process was that there is a household survey being conducted.
Yes,
the government has made every effort to ensure that there's a transparent and clear survey on the basis of which finally the households will be identified.
Now, please, I'm out of time. Please answer the one question. ANP, your coalition partner, is saying you're corrupt.
Well, how can they say that when they distribute forms with their own hands?
Well,
first
I'm
of all.
I'm out of time.
Let us not distort the facts. And the proxy survey, the household survey
are in hands of People's Party candidates in each by-election in Gilgit-Baltistan, in AJK, and they use them as a tool of patronage. That is the problem.
Okay, this is, I'm afraid we're going to have to leave this for another day. This is an important topic.
The way PISP works, it's not possible to have anything like that.
It's not possible to do it that way.
Because there are NADRA cards, there are ID cards, there's verification and validation.
Okay, I'm afraid I'm out of time.
Look at the numbers of people that the Punjab government put into AJK.
Okay.
Look at the thousands of people that came from Punjab administration with Mia Nawaz Sharif.
They're going to cut us off now, so we're going to have to leave it here. Quickly want to thank Shahnaz Wazir Ali and Khurram Dasgir Khan. We are completely out of time, so thank you both for having joined me on the program. As we leave the program, the crucial thing now is that we have to do another program on Benazir Income Support Program. It is an important issue. Now, the allegations that are being made are disturbing. Going back to what we were talking about originally in this program, the crucial point made by Khurram Dasgir Khan is that nothing can be ruled out right now. The rumors that we are hearing, and I stress rumor, is that political change may very well be an option in Pakistan right after Ramzan. People are gearing up, and of course it also will get a support from Imran Khan and other parties who are out of the National Assembly. Katrina Hussain saying Khuda Hafiz from Islamabad.